So what exactly are risers? Risers are objects that literally rise or elevate the product from the backdrop or from the floor. Just they literally lift up the product. Risers can be specifically purchased like as a riser, or they can be other objects that just happen to serve that purpose. Why do you even want to use risers? What are the benefits? They can provide you with a different composition that you wouldn't be able to get without them. You can layer your products one over the other, or you can vary up your height. It creates depth and dimension into your photo. And so, I mean, we're working with a 2D situation here, and risers, elevating different heights and such, layering will help create more depth. However, take that concept to the side. The other version of depth here is a literal depth, like breaking up your product from the backdrop. So separation from the backdrop is another reason why we want to use them. And give you more opportunities for lighting and shadows. Another thing would be props. So it gives you room to play there. So you can intersect props into the backdrop underneath the product that you wouldn't be able to do if it were laying flat on the ground. To summarize our benefits here, we are working with risers so that we can separate the product from the backdrop. We can highlight and feature and focus on the product more. We can create space for play, for lighting and shadows and props. And we can also create versatility in our shot with layering or staggering of our products. So now let's talk about some things to consider when we are using risers. So when it comes to choosing a riser, that's going to come down to your end result that you're going for, obviously. So first you have to answer yourself, is this something that will be seen in the photo or not? Like, are we intentionally, do we want to see the riser? Is it going to elevate the whole photo to see it, or do we want to hide the riser? So something like this is an acceptable riser to see in the photo. This, however, is a riser I use all the time that I do not want to see in the photo, and same goes for these little clips. I actually do use a lens cap quite often because I typically have a lens cap nearby. And then these clips are great risers as well. You can lay them flat for a flat little riser, like, you know, that's a little thicker than this, or you can put it up so you have this angle, because sometimes what a riser is doing isn't just elevating the product, but it can give you an angle if you need to like introduce an angle into your shot. These are also riser type things I wouldn't really necessarily want in the photo. You can keep an eye out inside packages that you buy when you buy things, right? You buy stuff off the internet, it gets shipped to you. It gets shipped to you with packing materials. And sometimes those packing materials are interesting and could totally be used for risers. So just keep your creative juices flowing whenever you unpack a box. Another one I wouldn't necessarily want seen would be this. You could totally see it if it's this way, but this is just a top of a like glass vial vase thing. It's a cap. This is a riser that is a half and half. I kind of don't mind it being seen because if you look at it from this angle here, it is pretty clean. However, it is just a box from like a product. Like I said, keep your eyes open when you're unpacking things. It has stuff over here. You can totally remove that if need be, but it's also got this cleaner edge here that we can work with that is not terrible. So this is not a bad riser. I use foam sometimes for risers, and I kind of love-hate them. I like it because it works. There's a lot of different shapes in a small package. You can just buy like a variety pack, right? However, I don't love it because I'm not a fan of the texture of foam, so I don't like to be up close, like if I'm shooting jewelry or something where I will see the texture of the foam. It's not my favorite look for a shoot. And then also very easy to damage and indent these. They're a love-hate, but I mostly love having them around because you can get variety of shapes, little tiny squares, circle discs. There's variety, so you have a lot to work with for risers, and they're quite lightweight, but that can also be an issue. So if the riser will be in the photo, I like to consider color and texture to make sure that that's all cohesive with the entire shoot, of course. And then I have to also consider that it's clean. A lot of these risers are used and abused quite a lot. Like for example, my acrylics, they are in some terrible shape, but that's also because more often than not, These acrylics are in the shot not to be seen. And when you do see them, you often see them at this angle here, and I'm like kind of often hiding the legs, and you'll just see like this bar right here. These are the only ones I have that are in decent shape, and it's because I've had them for less time, so it's not entirely fair. These are much longer risers, like literally in length. So for example, here's my other set that I have. Here's my shorty, so it's about the same height, but it is double the width. So it's nice to have if you have something, you know, if you're going to be layering like book-like product, right, or journals and notebooks, things like that, then you have quite a lot to work with here, and then all of the different heights and lengths. So then you have to just watch your angles, really double check. And all too many times I can get carried away, and maybe I knock something just a hair when I'm styling it, and then I don't realize till I double check the photos after I shot a set, and then I'm like, oh, well, you can see the riser in this whole last set I did. So learn from my mistake. So another kind of riser we have here would be wooden boxes. So you can get stacks of these like in a pack, and they work really well as a riser if you don't mind the wooden look. However, if you do mind the wooden look, then you can wrap it. So I've been doing this on a few of my different client shoots, and it is not the easiest thing because I'm using backdrop paper, and backdrop paper does not mold very well, not easily anyway. It is quite a pain. So steal this trick of mine. You can wrap the box with backdrop paper, and then you'll have the same exact color from the backdrop to your riser, and it'll all be this big old seamless thing, which is pretty cool. Not easy though. I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. Unless you're some kind of master wrapper, which maybe it's just not easy for me. I use bags and boxes for Christmas. So this could just be a me issue. All right, now I'm just gonna showcase a few other risers in case that I didn't already touch on, in case it gives you some idea. We've got these they're actually marble, they're quite heavy. Cool thing about these is I also use them as weights. So if I have to weigh down a product like a bag or something, I can throw this inside of it, and then you have something that weighs something down. But it's also great for a riser and for a prop. I've used them as a prop, but I've used them as risers and weights more than I've used them as props. So they're cute little, I just home decor shops, I'm telling you, have the cutest stuff that you can use that's very multi-purpose. You'll use them for props, then decor and such. You can use them as risers, and you can use them as weights if they're marble. This is on the same tone. These are little tiny wooden bowls, and they're teeny tiny and adorable. And I've used them as risers because you can just like kind of have a couple of them sitting out, and then have like your product on top. And since of the wide base, they balance pretty well. And they're not super thick, like super tall. So if you just need to rise something just a smidgen, these actually work really well. Here's another, this is a bookend. This is also heavy duty, and it's also used as something to kind of help keep things in place if I have to, because it's a bookend. It's big marble bookend. And they're nice because they're also pretty in a way, in their own way. So if I did need to showcase this as a riser you see, a visible riser, this is actually, you know, not terribly ugly. So it's a bonus. This is a saucer from a plant store. You can get these in a variety of sizes, and they often come like, you can get them naked or you can get them where they're pretty, and this is like a taupey color. Yeah, these work really well as like a prop. They're really pretty, neutral color scheme. You can get them in a variety of color schemes. You can also get them, like I said, naked, and the cool thing about that is you can paint it any color you need to fit a shoot, and then it's not terribly expensive to get these clay saucers. Another common one for me would be, what are these called? Coasters. Coasters are great. These ones I actually left the feet on, and this one I removed the feet, so that gives me some versatility there. When I am shooting straight down, having the feet does not bother me. However, if I'm shooting straight on, sometimes I don't want to see those feet. So I don't always want to see the feet. I have a pack of these, and half I left the feet on and half I took the feet off. And then last, I think I covered just about everything else, but like I said, you could use just about anything. I've used books, I've used, you know, camera equipment, I have used tablets and phones, I've used pop sockets, I've used just about anything. You really can use a lot. Another unseen thing, like we forget, actually, I think I had one of these that's very similar to this, and it was a cap to a candle, so you can keep an eye out for candles, the lids to candles. And then bowls and plates, little teacup saucers, those are all really great risers as well because they come in a variety of shapes and sizes and stuff. This was not like a go buy something situation. I am a big fan of use what you have until you use it enough that you're like, this is justified that I buy something, okay? That's my take on on this world of product photography, because it can get out of hand and out of pocket really crazy. So I suggest you maybe search around your house for some things that you already have, some small books or notebooks, some bookends. You've got, you know, some plates and such, dishes. You have little tiny, like, I don't know, maybe you have decor, packing materials that you see around. You've got lens caps, clips and such. So there are quite a lot of things you can utilize if you are in a pinch and you want to rise and start playing with elevating your product without going out and buying something specifically. Okay, that's all from me on risers. I will see you in the next video.